Many players want to increase their combat power in Throne of Liberty. You guys are working towards newer gear and items, which increase your combat power so you can get better attributes. Now, of course, combat power doesn't mean everything in the game. It also depends a lot on the way you're building your character, how you're playing the game. But combat power usually means higher stats. So in this video, I'll be covering how I got to 5,500 combat power. As you guys know, I have not been playing with any alts since day one of the game, and I am free to play. So in this video, we'll be covering what I do to make sure that I'm staying ahead and being able to increase my combat power so you guys can do too. So let's jump into it. Now, reaching 5,500 combat power, is it realistic? For some of you, it won't be realistic because some of you guys are probably completely new to the game and trying to start up and leveling your character from scratch. However, the things I talk about in this video will help you reach higher combat power, and by next week I expect most of you, if not all of you, to at least be over 5,000 combat power if you're following what I basically say in the video, because they are adding more systems to increase your combat power inside the game. Now, as you guys can see right now, I am 5.5k right here. I have been playing. I did take a break from the game for 1.5 months last year, but I played this game pretty much a lot, and I've been completely free to play. However, I do have one item which you guys probably see here, which is this item, the Queen Belvedere, which I got from my guild. But even if you take this away and you put in the Bulwark weapon instead, the combat power will be the exact same. But how do you get high combat power? So let's talk about like the general stuff. Is of course your gear, which is one of the main things right now, is getting T2. You guys can see I have a bunch of T2 pieces. Some of them are almost fully traded, while I still have a bunch of T1 pieces still. The next thing, which is huge, which is probably the main thing that was going to give you guys the little bit of edge in your level or combat power, is your mastery. So if you look at the weapon mastery, the two main weapons that you guys are using, which are these will give you a bunch of combat power increases. So every time you level up your main two weapons, it's going to give you a huge level up. Also, these passives, if you unlock a passive, this will also give you a little combat power increase. So leveling your weapons is incredibly important because if you're not leveling up your weapons, you're losing out on a lot of combat power. Next up is runes. So sometimes you guys see when you upgrade your gear, you're like, yo, I lost combat power. And that's usually because people sometimes forget to, when they swap to T2, for example, weapons, they forgot to put runes in. Runes gives insane amount of combat power too, so make sure you have your runes level 60. They're making there's new runes coming on Thursday, which will be able to level up to level 80, and that's going to give you the huge combat power increase if you're grinding the dimensional trials, which is very grindy. A lot of people hate it, but this is a huge way to get your combat power up early. So if you get on early on Thursday and you start grinding, it's going to give you a massive boost. So make sure you guys do that. New system that they have added is also artifact. Now the artifacts gives insane amount of combat power. Like when I say insane, I mean insane. Like if you take away this piece, I'm at 5,503. You take away one of these, and you see how much it it dropped by 50 or 60 almost by just taking off one artifact piece. So yeah, get these blue artifacts. The rare artifacts is going to give you insane amount of combat power boost. Now we talked about most of the things that give you guys combat power increases. If you're a new player, you probably still have to level up your skills to level 5. These also gives you a bunch of combat power increases. But this is mainly the things that give you your increases, right? So you want to work on, of course, your T2 gear, but mainly my priority list for you guys will be gear comes, right? All these T2 gears will eventually end up coming. The main thing that people struggle with is getting their mastery up. So I want people to focus on their masteries. I want focus to get the rare artifacts. It's incredibly easy to get rare artifacts right now, so everybody should have full rare artifacts and then focus on the new runes. The gear, I know people really want the T2 gear, but it is hard to get, so gear is the one thing that will go way more slowly, but you guys can get all of these other things pretty easily and pretty quick. Now, what do I do every single day? Now, the main thing that I look for right now is, of course, building my gear So usually when I build my gear, I don't build because I am free to play. I struggle with having enough lucent to make enough moves, right? A lot of these things that I've gotten, which is the T2 weapon, I got completely for free from this NPC right here. Right here, the workshop NPC gave me the T2 weapon for free by just playing the game, because by playing the game, I was able to easily obtain adventure coin loyalties, which by just logging in or doing contracts you get. So my weapon was completely free. The mask right here that I bought, and these things, the bangle, the eternal flame, and the honor promise signet, the right, these things cost me 500 lucent each, which is incredibly cheap. So right now, you guys can probably see here, this one is already down to 270, right? So right now, some of the things are really cheap. The things I need that are more expensive, which is the Vanguard stuff, I'm not currently buying, right? Because I can't afford it. So that's how I'm leveling up very slowly. Now, I did have a small advantage when it comes to my accessories. It's because I blessing stacked, which made it a little cheaper for me to be able to get the trades, because trades gives a bunch of CP, but I'm still missing trades on these two because I didn't completely blessing stack my rings. But I usually go for the cheap prices, and that's why I have things favorited in my all the items I need. I have favorited, so I can always check what the prices are. Now, this is incredibly important. When you have reset day, which is Thursday and Friday, Thursday and Fridays are the days where items are the cheapest. If you're going to invest in anything, of course, the longer you wait, it will get cheaper too. But if you want to invest in anything, it's usually on the first days when people get resets, when people get more juice to do, and there's new content to the game because people are running them, and that will make stuff cheaper. When you start buying stuff on Wednesday, which is today, when it's new fresh items, people are usually run out of juice, right? People don't have nebula currencies. They usually don't have much dimensional contracts. So there's prices usually go up, right? So you kind of have to keep watching the trading house to see what items you can get. But this is the way you can basically upgrade your gear in the best way possible to not make it extreme super expensive. I talked about something else too, which is I want to show you guys real quick. I talked about this in a separate video, but right here you guys can see here I have a T2 ring, and I have a second T2 ring just connected to it. I saved a bunch of materials by doing this. You can do the same thing with your T2 weapon to save a bunch of materials, so they get instant level 12. And next up is what I do every single day is, or every week, is buy out the weekly NPCs. When I talk about the weekly NPCs and the daily NPCs, is you always buy out the guild merchant, right? You buy out the sundries merchant for the contracts. You make sure that you buy out the resistant metals every single week. If you go here, and you guys are not aware, we have this guy right here, which is resistant metals. You want to have enough resistant metals to buy out the weekly stuff. So certain things have weekly limits, you guys can see here, and some have total limits. The reason I haven't bought out the total limit is because you only have to buy out this once. The main thing you should be focused on is the weekly limit stuff. You're missing dust, or you're missing polished crystals, or you're missing some materials. You want to go here and buy out with the special resistant metals. You want to buy out the weekly nebula pouches. And you want to buy out, if you guys don't know this, but there's if you go to Castleton right up here, right, Arena Sundries Merchant, this will actually give you the currencies to buy T2 weapons. You need to buy out this weekly too. So there's weekly NPCs, and buying out the weekly stuff is incredibly important, and also buying out the daily stuff is something I try to do every single week and every single day, so you don't miss out on any extra loot. Next thing is you want to be completing this. You don't have to do everything. Like you got to see here. Now we're already on Monday, and you can see the dynamic event performance reward is 2 out of 3. I don't do these events, okay? I try to just use my time most efficient, and I hate doing events. I only do 3 just to get the weekly, but being able to do your weekly will give you a bunch of rewards so you guys can actually keep up, right? Now, when it comes to daily stuff every day, because you have a bunch, and I know it gets a lot. You have your dungeon tokens, you have your the 2-star tier 2 tokens for the 3-star dungeon. You have your abyss currency, which is your tokens. You have your contracts. You have your solo dungeons, all that stuff. Now, the nice thing about this game is things stack, right? So these dungeon tokens, they stack, and you can use them as long as you use them every third day or fourth day. You won't be able to like go over it, right? So I want to make sure that I don't usually go over this, because you lose out on a lot of materials if you get too many tokens. So usually I spend around 3 hours every 3 days to completely like do all my daily stuff. It is not a lot. I know it might be more time for people that are not as geared and stuff. Eventually, when you get geared, things take much shorter time. But just let me give you an example. When it comes to my Abyss contract tokens, these are incredibly important, because this is what is going to increase your mastery levels. You never want to cap this, and you want to be efficient with farming your Abyss contract tokens, right? So what I usually do is, usually every day, I would do my 2-star dungeon and 1-star dungeon. My 2-star dungeon probably takes me, completing 2 dungeons takes me like 10 minutes. Doing my all 2-star dungeon and the random matchmaking take me what 10 minutes. We're at like probably half an hour with the contracts, which is 10 contracts a day. Probably at half an hour every single day. And then you have the extra stuff, of course, which is the field bosses stuff that you can do, or the solo dungeons that you want to be doing. But usually you can spend around 1 hour a day to finish all your dailies, right? It is extremely important you do it, because otherwise you're going to lose out on a lot of juice. Once I've done my dailies, which is the main thing, because these are the ones that are going to make me money or loosened or whatever, and give me a lot of stuff. Once this starts hitting 40,000, which is about every third day, I will go into an open world dungeon. I will just farm. It takes me 1 hour to get rid of like 20,000 tokens or 25,000 tokens. So that is the way I will level my mastery up, right? Once I've done my dungeons and all that stuff, I'm going to focus on everything else. So once you've done your dailies, which is about like an hour at most, or under an hour, depending how fast you do, you want to do the other things, which is, of course, farming Nebula Island now, which is a new thing, which are and you want to be doing the bosses with your guild, which is incredibly important. And then later now, they're going to add a new rune system, so you want to be farming your runes to level them up. That's what you want to spend the rest of your time doing in the game, is trying to level up your runes. It's going to be your main priority when the update hits, right? So once you have done this, you have you farm this. This is you should be able to get enough materials and items just to grind your mastery up and get your combat power much higher. Those should be your main priorities. I know it sounds like a lot of stuff to do, but if you actually sit down for a second and you try to understand how much time you're actually taking, the nice thing about this game is you don't have to play every day. You can let it stack for a couple of days. You can just focus on certain things. You can let it stack, but just don't let it go over the limit, because that's where you get screwed. Now, what I don't do every week, I don't do these events, because this is a burnout. In my opinion, these events burn you out, because you have to spend like 30 minutes on each of these events. I don't do every single boss. I do the CTA bosses, which is about at 6 or 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. But I don't do all of the bosses either, because they burn you out. I don't do any arena either, because they burn you out. I don't finish the full weekly missions, just what I need for the thresholds, because they burn you out. I don't do fishing in the game. If you guys look at my fishing level is very low. I don't do any, I'm not even max cooking level. So there's many things in this game that I don't do and that you don't have to do. You just want to prioritize the main things that gives you level. Like, don't fully focus on, trust me, the T2 gear will come eventually, right? It is hard, but the main thing that you guys can do as a player to increase your mastery right now for free, complete cheap, is focusing on your weapon mastery, focusing on your runes, and artifacts will come eventually. Those are the main things, two things. Runes and mastery, okay? Trust me on this. Everything else will come and will give you a huge weapon boost. Now, I will tell you guys this. I don't do this, but I would highly advise everybody else that are playing or new to the game to do this. It is to make an alt. I've been saying this since day one. I don't play with an alt, but it will give me so much more loosen. Because what you can do with an alt, let's say you have an alt, right? You have an alt, you can farm these dungeons, right, to get the extra loot, because everything you sell on your character will basically give you lucent on your main character. So if you want to, you can run these dungeons. But the main thing that people are using their alts for right now is if you go here, this is very extremely simple to do. You go, you log your alt, you get the T2 gear. There's codes for like T2 gear now that you can get by watching streamers and stuff. And if you want codes, you can actually contact me on Discord too. I have some codes I can give you guys away, so you can fully T2 blue gear your characters, your alts. Now, when you do this, and then you talk to this merchant, buy out this pouch. This is free lucent on your alt. Like, honestly, I should be doing this, but I don't. But this is a free way to make money, because getting 50 Nebula stones takes about an hour on your alt to 2 hours at max every single week, and you will get 50 free items every single week. You don't have to do anything else but just buy out this pouch. It's going to give you a bunch of lucent that you guys can invest in on your main character. But that is how I basically gear up and get high CP on my character. I mean, like I said, getting high CP doesn't mean absolutely everything, but being able to reach 5.5k should be a goal, especially with a new update coming out with the new runes. Is a goal obtainable even for free-to-play players. And if you have an alt, it is definitely obtainable. Okay, so make sure you guys get on that. Hopefully this video guys explained and made it a little bit easier for you. Remember, I do know something. Sometimes the games feel overwhelming. There's a lot of stuff to do, but at the end of the day, it's very obtainable as long as you just focus on the things that you guys should actually prioritize for your combat power. But thank you guys so much for watching. Check this video right here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.